Hello, adventurers of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 48th episode of our feats series. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most popular feats in the game. Today we're looking at Sentinel. Now this is mostly used in combination with Polar Master, and some DMs allow it, some don't. I'll get into why there's a little bit of a controversy over it a little bit later on here. That being said, this is just great for almost anyone to look at. It is or any melee character to look at, allow me to rephrase. It is found in the player's handbook. Let's take a look at the description here and kind of break down what makes this so good a little bit later on. First and foremost, worth noting, there is no prerequisite. What that means is anyone of any race, of any skill or ability level, of any prior background can take this feat with no problem. The description reads as followed. You have mastered techniques to take advantage of every drop in an enemy's guard, gaining the following benefits. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacks from you even if they take the Disengage action before leaving your reach. When a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, and that target doesn't have this feat, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against the attacking creature. Really cool stuff and super awesome. Let's take a look at the walkthrough and kind of break this down a little bit more. So after you hit an enemy, whack them in the head or what have you, their speed immediately reduces to 0. Now notice how this doesn't specify walking or running speed, just says speed in general. That's a little bit important to note for later on as well. Attacks of opportunity can also be made even when the creature takes a Disengage action. Attacks of opportunity can also be made whenever a creature within 5 feet of you attacks another target. Really cool stuff. Honestly, I just really like all of this. The reason why there's a little bit of a controversy over whether or not this can be stacked with Polar Master is for this third bullet there, the one that says you can attack creatures when they make an attack against another target within 5 feet. That's a hard limit, that 5 feet. That being said, the second bullet, when they just leave your reach, that would stack with Polar Master. So a lot of characters like to argue that both of them qualify for Polar Master. In my games, they only allow the one, and some DMs just straight up say no, it applies to the weapon, not to your personal reach. I don't really agree with that one, but I've heard the argument made both ways. That being said, let's take a look at my personal thoughts on this. I think this is absolutely amazing, especially if you're a character that doesn't use their reactions a whole lot. In terms of who would benefit most, I'd probably say Paladins, probably. Just because the only things they could really use reactions for would be a couple spells, and they like to reserve those spell slots for their smites, so it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for them. That being said, this would be great use of it. They could also technically partner this up with their smites as well, making extra damage, which is never a bad thing when you're a heavy hitter in the group. This would also make a lot of sense for groups where there's only one or two, or only when there's a small amount of melee characters. How about that? Just because this lets you kind of keep aggro on yourself and at the same time prevent enemies from reaching other targets if they try. Or punishing them if they do even, which is awesome, honestly. This whole feat's pretty good. That being said, it might be worth noting that there is some comments about it in Sage Advice here. Firstly, in order to gain benefit from the third part, it happens after the attack is made. So whoever the creature is targeting still takes damage. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it works. Or unless they miss, I guess. But still. And the second question that is addressed on Sage Advice is, how does this work with the mobile feat, and the fancy footwork for the Circos Adventures Guide Swashbuckler, I believe. In any case, the ruling on Sage Device is that those two ways around it will not trigger the that second bullet point there unless they take the disengage action, which is really interesting if you really think about it. And before I let you guys go today, I just want to quickly address why that speed reduction is so overwhelmingly powerful in 5e, especially with the way it's worded. It essentially allows you to drop targets straight out of the air and send them plummeting towards the earth like some kind of crazy comet. I've heard tales whispered amongst DMs of parties who have essentially outright defeated dragons by hitting them once as a reaction. Honestly, I find this feat to be super awesome. You could also use it to deal with pesky spiders or anything of that nature as well. At the very least, I'd certainly allow that in one of my games. In any case, guys, if you have any crazy combos, cool ideas, comments, or questions regarding Sentinel, please take it down in the comments below. I love reading them, and I know everyone else tuning in does as well. That being said, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, and as always, happy adventuring.